Has debate jargon become too much of a chore? Does every round you enter leave you wanting to know more? Well, look no further because one clap is the key. It's time for Professor Graham and Kevin's ABCs. Hello, debaters. Welcome back to another episode of Professor Graham's ABCs of Debate. I'm Professor Graham, and as always, I'm here with my pal Kevin, and today the word of the day is going to be offense. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Offense versus defense. What do they mean? Why are they kind of complicated? Do they mean things? Let's find out. Offense and defense refer to the types of arguments that you're advancing throughout the round. Offense is just a simpler way of saying, this argument is a reason why I should win. Defense is a simple way of saying, this argument is a reason why my opponents should not win. I think you'll actually be surprised by how little overlap there is. So let's first start off with offense. Offensive arguments are reasons why voting for you is a good idea. For example, if you're affirmative, your contentions/advantages are offensive arguments because if you win that you solve, you have some offensive reason why voting for you makes the world a better place. If you're negative, your contentions/disadvantages, topicality, and parts of the critique are offensive arguments that prove why voting for you makes the world a better place. In both cases, for both teams, the goal is to make their side look more appealing. Defensive arguments are the inverse of that. They're reasons why your opponents should not win the round. That might sound like a trivial distinction, but I promise it's both relevant and makes sense in context. Let's look at a food war's impact. The affirmative argues that resource shortages cause conflict, and that their plan is key to providing enough food to prevent those countries from having a reason to go to war over those resources. The negative then advances the argument that it is unlikely that countries go to war with each other over resources because cooperation is much easier and there's plenty of resources to go around. The negative argument is defensive because saying that food wars are unlikely doesn't advance why they should win, just why the affirmative doesn't. Another example is something as simple as saying there's no link on a DA. That's another instance of a defensive argument, because saying that you don't cause a bad thing to happen is not the same as you preventing something through a direct action. That's a fair point, Kevin, and I see how it can be a little bit confusing. Most of the time, when generating arguments off the top of your head, whether it's offense or defense probably doesn't matter in the short term. You're still probably going to need arguments like no link, no impact, non-unique, they don't solve, etc. So it's not like every argument you make is going to be offensive. Most of the time, the best arguments against things are mitigators, not turns. That's because the quality of arguments in debate is garbage. That being said, it's usually good to have a delicate balance between the two. You need both offense and defense to win a round. Without solid offense with a good impact to wave around, it doesn't matter how unlikely or unrealistic your opponent's impacts seem because you don't have one to vote for in the first place. Without defensive arguments against your opponent, if you're both going for big scary impacts, any mitigation done by your opponent is an instant round winner. You need both parts of the puzzle if you want a chance at winning, and they're not difficult to incorporate. Hey y'all, turns out I forgot to record another outro. So, something sports reference, defense, something older, something hardly knower. You know the drill. Peace out.